the girl they mocked in courtroom until her evidence made the judge cry. She walked into the courtroom alone. No lawyer, no family. No one believed her. Some people whispered. Others scoffed. One man in the back laughed audibly and said, "This should be quick." The prosecutor smirked. The judge looked tired. Even the bailiff looked away. To everyone, she was just a foolish girl trying to fight something bigger than her. But they didn't know what she had in her bag. They didn't know what she had lived through. They didn't know she carried the kind of evidence that didn't just win cases, it changed people. This is the story of Elena Brooks, the girl they mocked in court, until her evidence made the judge cry. Elena Brooks was just 17 when she first met Thomas Vale. He was a teacher, charismatic, confident, and respected at her high school. He taught government and law. He talked about justice as if it were a sacred thing. At first, Elena admired him. Everyone did. He encouraged students to speak up, to write essays, to question the system. He made young people believe they mattered. But behind the charm, Thomas Vale had a darkness, and Elena was the only one who ever saw it. It started small. Comments about her intelligence, extra attention after class, helping her with college applications. Then came the texts. "You're smarter than the rest of them. I see something special in you. Promise me you'll never betray me." She was flattered, then confused, then scared. One night, he invited her to a private school event off campus. She said yes. He picked her up late. She remembers the car ride, how quiet it was. There was no school event. He told her it would ruin him if she spoke up. He said no one would believe her, that she had nothing, no proof, no voice. He manipulated her for nearly a year. Elena went silent. Her grades dropped. She lost weight. Her friends said she was changing, but no one knew why. Until the day her little sister found the old phone she'd hidden, and on it, they found everything. Elena had never meant to save the files. She didn't even know they were there. Old messages, audio recordings, screenshots, all backed up to a cloud she didn't realize was sinking. Her sister brought the phone to her mom. Her mom took it to the police. The police brought in the DA. And just like that, Elena was called to testify. But they told her something chilling. Then he's fighting back. He has a lawyer. He's saying you seduced him. Elena was devastated, but she wasn't broken. She told the DA, "I don't want a lawyer. I want to speak myself. They took my voice once, not again." And so here she was, standing before the court. Alone, mocked, laughed at, but in her hands was the evidence. She pulled the USB from her pocket and handed it to the clerk. On it were 37 text messages, 14 voice memos, 3 location pings, 2 recorded phone calls, and 1 6-minute video. When the judge asked if she wanted to say anything before evidence was played, Elena nodded. Her voice didn't shake. She said, "Everything in this courtroom assumes I am lying. Before you decide, I want you to hear his voice the way I did." Then she pressed play. The courtroom went still. His voice came over the speakers. "Don't make me out to be the villain. You wanted this too. You know I'd lose
everything if they found out. You owe me. You don't get to just walk away, Elena. You're not some innocent little thing." Gasps filled the courtroom. Even the judge shifted forward. Slowly, he removed his glasses and wiped his eyes. The prosecutor sat back. The defense attorney lowered his head. The laughter stopped. No one mocked her now. If this moment hit you hard, take a second to like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for stories that matter. The judge called for recess. Outside, reporters swarmed. The video had leaked. It was everywhere. By the time Elena returned to the stand, the mood had changed. The same people who doubted her now stood, not in mockery, in respect. When the final ruling came down, Thomas Vale was sentenced to 22 years in prison. But the story didn't end there. Elena was offered book deals, interviews, money. She declined most. Instead, she started a nonprofit called Voice for teens who were silenced in schools and systems. She gave TEDx talks, spoke in legislation meetings, consulted on school safety policies. She became the voice for the voiceless. And every time someone asked how she found the courage to face that courtroom alone, she said, "I didn't walk in alone. I walked in with every girl who'd ever been told to stay quiet." Before the trial, Elena spent nights awake staring at the ceiling. She remembered the first day Thomas praised her essay on constitutional law, the warmth of being seen. Only now did she realize how he had chosen her, not for talent, but for silence. At school, other students whispered about her, some cruelly, some curiously. Teachers avoided eye contact. The principal said she should be careful what she accuses. One counselor told her, "Even if it's true, courts never believe girls without money." But she never forgot her father's voice on the one phone call before his passing. "If they ever hurt you, don't whisper, scream." She screamed in the courtroom, and the world listened. Moved by her bravery? Please like, share, and subscribe to support real stories like this one. 3 months after Elena's story aired, a girl named Rena from another school sent her a message. "I saw you. I'm 15. My uncle's a teacher. He did the same thing. I thought I was alone. You gave me strength." Elena replied. She got her connected with Voice, helped her find a lawyer. Rena testified a year later. Her uncle got 18 years. Elena didn't just survive. She became a chain breaker, a chain starter, a torch passed between wounded girls who refused to stay quiet. One day, Elena sat down with a pen and paper. No cameras, no posts, just her. She wrote, "To the man who took my voice. You thought you'd broken me. You thought your silence would outlast my courage. You were wrong. I stood in the place you thought I would crumble, and I spoke your truth louder than your threats. You lost, not because I screamed, but because the world listened." She folded the letter, burned it in a quiet ceremony. It wasn't for him. It was for her. News anchors praised her. Politicians quoted her words. But not everyone was supportive. A few former students defended Thomas online. Anonymous messages called her a liar. One school board member said, "This will make it hard for male teachers." Elena didn't flinch. She held a press conference. "I didn't ruin his life. He did. And if this makes even one student safer, I'll take every name they throw at me." The audience applauded. A movement was born.
1 year later, legislation passed in her state called the Brooks Bill, a law requiring every school to implement trauma training, anonymous reporting tech, and yearly consent education. Elena stood next to the governor when it was signed. She didn't smile for the cameras. She smiled for the girls watching through phone screens, thinking, that could be me. Elena walked across the stage at her university, a degree in law and social policy in her hands. She was valedictorian. In her speech, she said, "They said I had no case, no lawyer, no voice, but I had the truth, and that was enough." The audience gave a standing ovation. One professor wiped his eyes and whispered, "That girl, she rewrote justice."